The Society Islands offer several deep channels, so they need not be skirted by ships. However, navigational charts must of course be studied, as coral reefs can rise from the depths, yet remain hidden beneath the waves and can bottom the unwary seafarer in an instant. Page 23. The dramatic mountains of volcanic origin make the islands comprising Bora Bora a spectacular locale to take on water, fresh fruit, and other supplies. Care must be taken to approach the islands within the circling reefs. The safest channel can be found directly to the west of Viatape. Secret passages. Several channels exist through the reefs to Moria. Two on the north are Opunahu Bay and of course Cook's Bay. I venture to say that if Captain Cook had use of this book during his voyages aboard His Majesty's bark Endeavour, he would have had far less troublesome time of it, if less adventure as well. Okay. Okay. Sailing the Florida Keys.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Seems odd. What's that got to do with anything? Right. Page 35. Florida Straits, which narrow from around 90 miles wide near Key West to 45 miles off southern Florida. The Keys are low-lying, protected by a dangerous reef. But a reef again, okay? But landmarks are clear and the charts are kept up to date. This is a necessity in waters where hurricanes can change the shape of entire islands in a matter of hours. Page 89. 70 miles west of Key West are the Dry Tortugas, where Fort Jefferson, abandoned in 1874, can be found. The fort is now famous as the place four men convicted of complicity in the assassination of President Abraham Lincoln were incarcerated. One of these was Dr. Samuel A. Mudd, who treated John Wilkes Booth's leg when... Page 145. Prevailing winds in the straits are from the southeast. There can be lengthy periods of calm in the summer, however. The winter can produce gale-force winds. The hurricane season, which runs from late summer through the fall, can make sailing extremely hazardous. Hurricanes can approach the area from almost any direction, depending upon when their paths across the Atlantic collide with westerly winds from the Gulf of Mexico. Page 210. Gone are the wreckers who once plied their trade throughout the Keys, yet, despite hurricane and fire, many historic buildings still remain in Key West. Unique are the two houses of the Columbus and Hardesty families that face each other across the street of ancient trees. But remarkable history of the Columbus and Hardesty families must wait until another time. Coded message.
Let me examine this further.
172. No.
This could use a closer look.
Can I?
I'm afraid it's stuck that way. Those don't work together.
Okay. Trying to see if there's like a book code.
I can't get them to fit. There is no cause for that.
Okay, never mind.
Those don't work together.
Yeah, you say that. Stealing books. Okay. No, wrong one. Navigate.
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
Panama locks. Page 11. Opened on August the 15th, 1914, cutting 7,872 miles from the journey of a ship sailing from New York to San Francisco. Each lock is 300 meters long and 33 meters wide. The walls range in thickness from 15 meters at the base to 3 meters at the top. Originally, the locks were only planned to be 28.5 meters wide, but in 1908, the United States Navy, page 48, entering from the Bay of Panama on the Pacific Ocean side of the isthmus, the ship will travel the 50 miles of canal through a series of 6 locks and 2 lakes, first climbing through the Miraflores Lock to Miraflores Lake, the Pedro Miguel Locks to Gatun Lake, then descending through the Gatun Locks to the Atlantic. Page 96. Landslides. Raised only 26 metres to Gatton Lake, the terrain was merciless. More than 4,000 wagons, each wagon capable of carrying 15 cubic metres of rock and soil, were used for the removal of the excavated material. They were pulled by 160 locomotives. 30 Lidgerwood unloaders were needed to unload them. Page 162. $352 million became the largest expenditure of the United States government to that date. The French cost was $287 million. The expense in lives was also the greatest in United States history. 80,000 persons took part in the construction of the canal. 30,000 lost their lives. Still, at the moment, the SS Ancon began its historic voyage through the locks. Okay.
That looks like the jetty here on the island. He looks quite happy. She a little less so. That looks like the jetty here on the island.
Oh, that's just the picture, okay.
He looks quite happy. She a little less so.
Oh, I don't know if I can do something else. Right. Diary.
Normally, I would never violate someone's privacy this way. However, given the circumstances, I will examine the entries for clues and transcribe any passages I find pertinent.
Oops. Let's see what we get from that. Robson, sorry. Well, it must be Robson's. The whole section of the house isn't really important to me anymore. I rarely venture past the game room. Despite his feeble protests, I know he wouldn't really want me invading his private sanctum. But really, you could not find a more cliched way to conceal a secret passageway. I often wonder if Elmer has any sense at all. He might as well live at sea. It's the only place where he seems in control of his faculties. Truly, the albatross is the most graceful bird in motion. A photograph does it absolutely no justice. Most other birds that turn up on this benighted fly speck of an island look completely absurd flitting about. I must get away from here. I feel cooped up. If Elmer doesn't change his ways, and soon he may discover how like an albatross I can be. Elmer tried to get me on the schooner again this afternoon. I barely made it to the dock. It's absurd, really, but I feel as if the entire ocean were a gaping bottomless pit, and any boat, no matter how large or seaworthy, is still little more than a leaf, capable of being sucked into that smothering darkness at any moment. Elmer can be stubborn, but at least he gives in to reason eventually. We're selling the house to Gabrielle Steele, the actress, and moving back to the mainland. Although I dread the ensuing trip across the channel, I told him I can certainly bear it, knowing I never have to go near another island. Of course, it was just like Elmer to point out that England is an island. Very funny. I cannot say I'm much taken with Miss Steele. She sauntered through the house today as if she already owned it, practically ignoring us. She came with two small bookish men who followed her around like lapdogs. One of them was furiously taking notes as the diva dictated her grandiose plans for parts of the house, making no secret of her dislike of certain aspects. My precious birds! And her ideas for remodelling. A screening room? I can imagine her spending countless hours in there watching her own films, basking in her own brilliance. No. I know you wouldn't really want me of any, but really, you could more cliche to conceal a secret passageway. The books? Is there a book that I've missed? Because that's a very cliched way. It's the book. It might just be a case that I can't open it yet, because something needs to happen elsewhere. Ooh,
I transcribed the pertinent passages in my notebook.
That seems slightly more useful. Can I drop that?
That doesn't make sense.
Nope. We're stuck with the books forever. South Devon. Page 17. Fishing villages dot the south coast of Devon, tucked into bays and the protective mouths of rivers. The rugged cliffs surrounded by heavy seas and skirted by treacherous currents certainly have seen more than their share of shipwrecks over the centuries. 94. After 1815, soldiers returning from the Napoleonic Wars, yes, June 1815 for Waterloo. Although there were a few more battles went on afterwards in various places, including Italy and Naples. Napoleon took up smuggling in the area. Shipwreck Island, due to its isolated nature, became a base for smuggling and wrecking operations. The gang of smugglers and wreckers lived in stone huts in a cove on the southwestern side of the island. There was rumoured to be a system of natural caves that the gang used to store its plunder within. The gang, led by one Thomas Lawler, was eventually brought to account, and Lawler was hanged in 1821. Okay. No, I was hoping to look at that. Oh, okay, that's... Hello.
Wargrave on
Oh.
justice. I can only imagine the egotism that lurks within those pages.
No. Okay. Let's try going outside, although with the fact that it's heavy rain, it probably won't be able to go
I'll
out.
need to wait until the weather lets up a bit.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case. Oh, no. Hang on. Oh, wait, hang on.
It's a book holder. Seems like a long time since it's been used. That isn't going to help.
Do I try using the books on the book
That isn't
holder?
such a good idea.
Will one of those be...
I won't do that. I don't think that's appropriate.
I've got
I
the
won't
books
do
into
that.
my head, because it's just they've mentioned the...
That isn't such a good idea. I don't think that's appropriate.
I don't have any other books then. Did I get anything?
I see nothing remarkable.
Okay. Is there something in the desk then?
The drawer is locked.
That's locked. Oh, what does it say? Return to author with regrets.
I can't get them to fit.
Okay.
Those don't work together.
I mean, they clearly do. So what does this say?
Examine this further.
Want to shine some light on the matter. Flowery speeches may win you a few friends. So we want light.
I see nothing remarkable. There. Back to their original state.
So we split them up.
Nothing else to see about that.
Is there something in this?
I can't see anything of interest.
Okay, but that's something at least. We've a thing has
A
happened.
rather beautifully made globe of the world.
Is there something to do with the picture then, maybe?
That looks like the jetty here on the island. He looks quite happy. She a little less so.
Hmm.
That looks like the jetty here on the island.
Okay, I was just wondering if maybe there's like
Looks
some
quite
button,
happy.
button in the frame or
She a
something.
little less so.
Hmm. No, I have no idea what we're doing. Unless maybe there's some kind of we find some plants somewhere and we can put the light bulb in.
Fresh flowers. Quite pretty.
Come on.
Perhaps another time. That isn't going to help. That isn't such a good idea. Perhaps another time.
Okay, no, okay, fine. So everyone's still alive, apparently, based on this.
It's a sturdy cast iron stove.
Can't interact with these, okay. I think I've kind of looted everywhere I
I
can.
don't need it. And I'm no pack rat.
I mean, clearly you are.
I don't need to lug this around with me.
Clearly
It's
you
a full
do.
sack of flour.
Was it flowery speeches?
This is neither the time nor the place.
Okay, that's fine.
The refrigerator hardly seems large enough for a house of this size.
It's almost like it doesn't matter. check if she's alright.
The time for talk has passed.
Dear. Oh yeah, she collapsed at the end of the last one, didn't she? There's not really anything. Like, I'm finding random things and being like, oh, I can do a thing here. It's like, is that useful? Is it relevant? I don't know. Oh, this is the gramophone, isn't it? Oh!
Interesting history Shipwreck Island has. I studied up on it before I came down.
I stumbled upon progress.
What are the names of those two people I'm accused of killing?
John and Lucy Combs. I made a note of it.
Must have been a couple of kids I ran over near Cambridge. Beastly bad luck.
For them or for you?
Well, I was thinking for me, but of course you're right, sir. It was damned bad luck on them. Of course it was a pure accident. They rushed out of some cottage or other. Beastly nuisance. English roads are hopeless, of course. Can't get up a decent pace on them. Well, anyway, it wasn't my fault. This man is dead.
Right, okay. Did he choke to death?
Did Marston choke to death?
You can call it choking if you like. He died of asphyxiation right enough.
Was it poison?
Was Marston poisoned?
Can't say exactly. Everything points to one of the cyanides. No distinctive smell of prussic acid. Probably potassium cyanide. It acts pretty well instantaneously.
Was there something in the whiskey?
Was there something in the whiskey?
Yes, without a doubt.
Suicide?
Do you think it was suicide?
Seems like it.
What about murder?
Could he have been murdered?
Not my line of country. I'm a doctor, not a detective.
Did you know him before he arrived?
Did you know Marston before he arrived here today?
Not I. Personally or professionally.
What do you think of the record?
What do you think that record means?
A disgraceful and heartless practical joke, I suppose.
If you'll excuse me, Doctor.
But yes, we found out that everyone's involved, aren't they? At the rhyme. 10 little sailor boys went out to dine. One tricked his little self. And then there were 9. So yes. Following along the little rhyme we've got. Let's talk to the judge.